Hey, it's producer James here with another edition of the Habs Tonight pregame show. Tonight, we're going to talk about the lineup heading down to Nashville, missing Jeff Petry. He's out with upper body injury. And then as well, we're going to talk about Gorton's first move as the quote-unquote GM. But first, the intro before we welcome our co-host, Marco. Welcome, friends and fans. This is the Habs Tonight pregame show. I'm joined tonight by Marco. If you're first time here, please subscribe. And if you like what we do here on Habs Tonight, don't forget to hit that like button. Marco, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, James. Finally rocking some Habs merch. I was finally able to get some in Rome. You have no idea how tough it is over here. Hockey,
What?
I swear to you, it's basically unknown in like central southern Italy. Like I've been looking for one of these forever. I was lucky. A few buddies went to the thrift store, believe it or not, and they found it for me. They picked it up. So shout out to the boys, Marlon, Abby, and Sandra for that one.
Shout out. Yeah, it's a global community. And obviously, I'm sure there's not a lot of opportunities to buy official merchandise over there unless you want to pay exorbitant shipping fees. But tonight we're looking at the Montreal Canadiens are going into Nashville. A rematch from a couple Saturdays ago, except this time in Nashville. And obviously the big news story, I think, heading into this game is who's not going to the game tonight. And that includes Petry. Jeff Petry will be sitting this one out. He's got an upper body injury. And what's curious about this is that he played 21 minutes just the other night against the Colorado Avalanche. So do you heard anything? Do you have any theory as to what's really going on here, Marco? Like, we know upper body, lower body injuries, they can be pretty vague. What do you think is the story?
Well, when it comes to hockey players, typically, especially with the upper body, I think the most probable injury would be something shoulder related, maybe bad hit going into the boards at one point during the game. I would say perhaps it's that. And I guess that's why they have an indefinite timeline on them, because obviously you can't produce properly if you can't work your shoulder. I mean, you need it for so many things, checking, shooting. I mean, I don't really need to go into details of it. I think everybody knows, but yeah, definitely. I would guess it's shoulder. That'd be my guess.
Okay, so my next question is this a flare-up? Is this something that he's been playing through? Now we're just speculating, but we know that Jeff hasn't been playing up to his standards this season. 2 points so far in this campaign, 40 points last year, I believe. And you just got to look at the body of work and go, maybe just something has gotten in the way beyond mental stuff. Just the drag of playing after a short off season during such a hard cup run. Maybe this is just something that he picked up along the way and it's just been accumulating and is now finally time. I mean, I'm just speculating. We don't really know, but I kind of think, after playing 21 minutes, you think,
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this is something that's been kind of lingering. And I mean, obviously we've been unfortunate with our injuries with Edmondson and Weber. So, I mean, Petry did have to step up in the roles like we had mentioned previously. So I guess maybe if it was an injury that's been lingering and he had to play through it, I wouldn't be surprised if he would, especially as an alternate captain, he would need to be someone who could play through that injury for the greater good of the team. So wouldn't be surprised if it's something that's been lingering, but also it could be a new injury. We don't really know much about that.
Yeah, my guess is it's not something you come back after one night off. I think he's the kind of guy where, this is probably going to be a little bit. Speaking of which, Josh Anderson got hurt too, upper body injury again. There's a player that's clearly not going to be it's going to be hard to replicate his presence in the lineup, and we'll get to lineups right now because there's a lot of shuffling. So I'll just bring up what we got here. So there's a lot of things going on. The other game we had Cole Caufield playing on the fourth line. It caused a internet riot. I don't have no other term for it. This is from Daily Faceoff. So this is a fantasy sports site, but the way we look at it here, Mike Hoffman is back. Okay. So he's entering the lineup. On the first line with Suzuki and Toffoli. Toffoli got hurt the last game, so hopefully he's playing. Drouin, Dvorak, Caufield back on the second line, right? That was controversial. Any
Yeah.
observations about that last game? How he fit on that fourth line with Pizzetta and who else was he with? Perot, right?
So, yeah, with Perot and Pizzetta. I
Mhm.
mean, I definitely think he stood out amongst the two, and he had a few stretch passes. I mean, if they connected, they could have been good plays, and there's a few to him as well. So I think he did stand out, like, because I mean, it's not the typical crowd he's with, and we kind of said this in our last pregame, where him being on the fourth line, he could be in a position to excel. So I think he stood out, but I mean, at the end of the day, the results what matters. So fourth
Yeah.
line didn't work for him. I feel bad for the kid, honestly. He's been shuffled around the team, around the lineup so much, even the farm team. I mean, I just hope he could get it going, like feel comfortable, or the coaches could feel comfortable with him at any point in the lineup, really.
Yeah, I don't think, like I said, I didn't think this was a long-term issue with him being on the fourth. It was just lineup shuffling, and you can see Jake Evans back on the third line in the center spot with Armia, Leckie, and then the last line, which is pure fourth line grind right there, Michael Pizzetta, Ryan Poehling, and Matthew Perot. So, you know, when you look at the defensive pairings, it also gets interesting, right? So Ben Sherratt, David Savard, who moved up to the first line last game, I believe.
Yeah.
Matthias Norlinder, we'll talk about him in a sec. Brett Kulak back on the second pairing, and then Romanov and Chris Weidman. Romanov broke his nose last game, so I'm hoping his face is good enough to play in the next game. Yeah, but that leads me to what's happening here with Norlinder. So Gorton, de facto GM, Jeff Gorton for now, executive vice president. He made a pickup today on the waiver wire. Who did we pick up?
We picked up the boy Kale Clauge off from the Kings off waivers. I personally like the move a lot. I mean, I get excited whenever we see a young player come in, especially defense, because we know right now we're struggling and it's crucial for any team. And some of the things that stand out about Clauge, if we're pronouncing it correctly, I'm not too sure, but one of the things that stood out for me at least is this guy's got a wicked clapper. Seen some of his highlights, and this guy could really string the puck for sure. And I mean, you look at people we've had in the past, we've had Weber, Petry last season. I mean, when you got defensemen who could shoot the puck, it does wonders for your team. And I mean, we talked about Colorado last game. Like, where would they be without Cale Makar?
Yeah. And there was Bowen Byram and other guys that can do stuff on the blue line. So
right.
they're built from out of a different mold entirely. And obviously, that was when we go back to you and I didn't talk about it, but we did have a reaction show to Jeff Gorton's introductory press conference, and skill and speed were the two elements of the player style that he wanted to bring into the fold. And traditionally, over the last couple regimes of this club, more old school hockey mentality, big bangers on the blue line. And you look at someone like Ben Sherratt, who, you know, is starting to perk up a little bit. I think he's sensing an opportunity to make an impression. You know, and he's also just a hard worker. Players like that, you know, all the big beefy guys that we've got on the blue line, I think this is going to be where we start seeing the first series of moves, perhaps, within the club. And, you know, that's just me pontificating, but, you know, he's there for the first time. This is his first road game with the team. He's been there about 3 or 4 days now. Only seen him on the ice for the first time the other night against Colorado. So he's still addressing and assessing the situation, but this move right away kind of plays into his philosophy. So it's interesting. It's I think he'll fit in right away. And as we wanted to say about Matthias Norlinder, do you think he goes back to Sweden? Is this a sign that they want to put him back on that development track?
Well, I think for the time being, while Petry's out, I think we're going to need him in the lineup if we want to stay competitive. But I think the best move for his development is to go back and play in Sweden for sure. And I think that's probably why they also brought in Clauge too. Maybe depending on how he develops, how he fits in the team, maybe he feels comfortable enough he could play, because he has played already at the NHL level with the Kings. And it's actually funny. One of my friends mentioned this on Twitter. He actually has more power play points than any active defenseman on the Habs roster with 3.
Yeah, like those stats are not fair, right? It's just
kidding. But I definitely think that this move does kind of set the tone for what Gorton wants to do with the organization. bringing in a young D-man. It kind of goes towards that incentive of player development and like / rebuilding or whatever you may want to call it. And he's done great things in the past with the Rangers with Adam Fox. So maybe he's got an eye for good D-men. I really hope that's the case. I'm personally excited to see this guy play for the first time with us.
Yeah, no, it's cool. And obviously there was a couple of AHL call-ups over the last week to fill some of those spots with Anderson going down and obviously Petry. So we'll get to see maybe a few fresh faces. And I'm actually going to see if Damon and Shane on the post-game show can talk about those particular players, because Damon is he's deep on the prospect pool. If there's one thing you need to know about the Habs tonight and some of the new people we brought on, Damon is our prospect.
He's the man.
Yeah, he's like our prospect Jedi. Last thing, we did put up a poll if you want to check it out on our community tab on YouTube. Very basic question. Kyle Clauge has been claimed off waivers by the Habs. Does this mean Matthias Norlinder should go back to Sweden? And so far, 76% of you have said yes. So thank you for filling that out. We like to put little game day polls up just to get people's juices flowing before the night. So with that, Marco, I think we'll leave it there. We know there's going to be a post-game show tonight. We've got Shaner, we got Damon. You know, they're going to break down hopefully what'll be another win against Nashville, but we'll have to contain them. I know that Matt Duchene made it interesting for us last time. 3 goals. And they're not short on talent.
Gave us a little bit more of a headache than we needed to have that game, I think. But
yeah, nothing comes easy for this team right now, and that's just the way it is. One other note, I've got a Habs Tonight hat on right now. You can buy this stuff for 20% off store-wide. Code Dale. You could use the code Dale. We still have a window here to get stuff to you by Christmas, I believe. So depending on where you are on the planet, that stuff's sitting there. And yeah, looking forward to more discussions about the team over the coming days. If you're new here, if you're new to Habs Tonight, just hit subscribe. Hit us with a like button if you like what you hear. And we always invite you to the comments to suggest, if we got something incorrect, or if you have thoughts on what we discussed tonight. So we discussed Petry, we discussed the lineup shuffling, and obviously we've got Gorton's first move with Kale Clauge. So Marco, thanks again. I know it's late for you, so hopefully you enjoy the game tonight and you can stay up and it's worth your time.
Oh, it always is, no matter the result. That's just the pride of the team.
Yeah, here we go. That's a Habs-ativity moment for you right there. Well, I wish everyone a good game. Take it easy, and we'll see you on the next one.